Winners and losers in life. I just finished a book. It's right here called Good Energy by Casey Means. It's disturbing to say the least. And I wanted to talk about it, and amongst other things, with two of my favorite people from New Zealand and all over the world, which is odd because I've never met them. But if I ever did meet them, I would give them the biggest Rubio hug. But they are absolutely fantastic in what they do. They just finished their show. So make sure when you guys are done watching this, or you can just pause it if you want because we're live, and just go to MD and Chef and on YouTube and subscribe. They do a great show. You will leave happy and knowledgeable. I've never left their show without learning something and without smiling. And if you go to their show and watch an entire hour, and if you don't laugh or learn something, I don't know what to tell you. You got problems. You've been asleep the entire time. So Jenna, bring on MD and Chef. We got to have a conversation about some food.
You're funny.
Whoa, we got to come in here.
Tighten up a little. Tighten up. Guys, welcome. I appreciate your time. You guys are the best.
We got to tighten up. Oh my gosh, I don't know.
That's okay. We can do this.
All right. We can pull it off.
You guys, MD's on he's the dude. No, MD's on the right. That's the girl. Chef is the dude. All right. Now, they've got a great show. I've talked about it countless times. I talk about it literally every show. And you guys are always talking about, your big thing is looking upstream and not downstream. Okay. MD, can you explain that in probably 30 seconds real quick? What do you mean by upstream and not downstream?
First of all, thank you so much. You're so funny. Upstream. So, we don't have a healthcare system. We've got disease management, and everybody thinks, okay, I'll just go to the doctor and get a pill. Well, that's getting downstream. That's taking care of the problem downstream. When you don't have to have the downstream diabetes, cancer, high blood pressure, you can actually start preventing it by looking upstream. So that's what we teach, is teaching people how to take care of themselves upstream before the downstream event happens, because it's hard.
Yeah, it's very hard. And you have led me right into a perfect transition, because there's this lady on social media called Food Babe. I forgot to look up her real name, but she's phenomenal. And she's been in front of Congress, and she's just letting it rain over and over. Yeah, right there, beating you lies. And she has got so much great content out. And when she went on there, and I've been trying to get you guys on for about a month, because she had this little cereal demonstration. And I said, holy hell, I saved the video. I sent it to Jenna. I go, when MD and Chef are on, I'm going to talk about this. So Jenna, please play that video for us.
But with artificial food dyes, they have shown all over the world that they can use colorants that come from fruit.
This is the Canadian version.
This is the brightness of the Canadian version, just for visibility. And this is the brightness of artificial food dyes. So, of course, Kellogg and other food companies will argue children prefer this over this, just as they would prefer cocaine over sugar. That doesn't make it okay.
But I think
I said, I like even rubbed my eyes, and I was checking the color of my TV. I was like, there's no way that is real. And she was on, I think, for at least a day or two. And then she's got this big campaign against Kellogg's right now. But Doc and Chef, how is this legal? I mean, what the hell? You look at that, and that's obviously, one is completely not normal, and one is just cereal, which you probably shouldn't be eating a lot of anyway. But the one that looks like a damn, 1980s movie with all the neon, that's a code red, right?
All righty. Well, let me give you the facts here, Rubio, because I know you're a fact man. You only deal in facts. So this has got to do with the USA. So in the USA, an ingredient manufacturer is the only one that really has to approve the ingredient. The FDA has nothing to do with it. The FDA has said that, well, there's just not, they don't have enough resources to try to approve every food ingredient.
My ass.
The manufacturer makes it an ingredient. They could submit what's called a GRAS, which is a generally recognized as safe. Their scientists give themselves a GRAS. Now, once that GRAS comes out and says generally recognized as safe, let's say it's chemical XYZ or XYZ, as you say over there, that if they give it a GRAS, then it's a green light. And that GRAS it's not even mandatory. They don't have to give it to the FDA. They can give it to the FDA or not to have a look at. Then the FDA, if they decide to have a look at it, then they say, oh, yep, that's cool, that's good. Or they can say, I don't know, we got questions about that product. Then the food manufacturer can pull that GRAS from the FDA and act like it never happened, and they can go ahead and continue to sell that product.
Okay, number one, I'm assuming. Okay, number one, I'm assuming they're paying for the entire scientists.
Yes, the company.
So, okay, I'm going to hire you two to be my scientist and say, Rubio, this Rubio cereal that's neon purple. Okay, you're going to say it's approved, and you're going to say Gras, fantastic, because I'm going to pay you $1 million. Number two, can you pull that up again, Jenna, from Ethan? I really appreciate you guys talking about this subject. It's hard to find good information on proper nutrition out there. Hell yeah, Ethan, 100%. Number two, what the hell is the point of the FDA, the Food and Drug Administration? That should be the code red of, hey guys, no, this is going to make you grow a tail. Don't eat it.
The word from the FDA is they say they don't want to waste government resources on this type of an area. There's just not enough resources to try to approve every product that comes out. So now we know there's somewhere around 60,000 chemicals in the USA foods, and like over in Europe, there's about 400 that have been approved. And this is how it happens.
But okay, I hate to be Whitney Houston, but teach the children, let them lead the way. Like cereal is a kid consumed product, 95% of it, besides, let's say drunk college guys. But it's one of those where if you cereal, that's teaching the people. I mean, Jenna writes, didn't the government put them in charge to protect the people? This seems like they're doing the exact opposite.
Yeah, well, they're letting the companies basically be the police of their own products. And of course, we can imagine what happens there. I mean, there's basically no control. They can decide whether, oh yeah, this is good, it's okay. I mean, when you look at the wording and all the research, we now know that these types of food dyes, these colors, like you showed in that cereal, those food dyes, they always say in the research may cause, and some of them may causes because they're all afraid of the researchers are afraid of being sued. They never say will cause, they have to say may cause. May cause, one of the biggies is with childhood hypertension, childhood restlessness, childhood mood disorders. So there's all this information about that. Another biggie is cancers, may cause cancer. Now, the food manufacturers in response, and you can see this on all this stuff online, is the food manufacturers will say, well, and it's our research shows that it's below the level, it's in the levels of acceptable for cancer. Well, the problem is, yes, if you have one bowl of that cereal, it's not going to give you cancer. But if you're eating that bowl of cereal for breakfast for a couple decades, yeah, you're starting to now overwhelm your immune system with cancer-causing agents. And okay, now we got a problem. So that's really what's happening.
Okay, so Jenna is showing pictures, U.S. version versus UK version versus Australian version, and the U.S. version is holy hell. It looks like words you can't even understand. We've got 10,000 more ingredients. So this question goes to Doc. Doc, when you look at this, do you just think this is all downstream? Like we're just trying to get our kids hopped up on as many quote unquote drugs and things. And no wonder why either they're depressed or they're hyper or they're doing this, because you're looking at it and going, hey man, just stop giving them this shit. We'll be fine. And just give them some fruit or, some healthy bread. And maybe you won't have 97% of the kids with ADHD or whatever.
Do you know how hard that is for parents to take in? Because they believe they're doing the best. They're led to believe that they're doing the best for their kids. My kid eats a healthy diet, but I mean, it's going to take time to turn the Titanic. It will happen. I'm glad you're talking about it. It needs to happen because this is the downstream event. We've got childhood cancer, childhood ADHD. We've got so many people on Ritalin. It's absolutely unnecessary. And the suffering is unnecessary.
Well, yeah, and when you start doing the research on it, and who is that lady that you talked about last time, who was on Rogan, the Stanford doctor, her and her brother?
Yeah, the book you read, Dr. Means.
Jesus, I brought it up. You got me too fired up. You need to go watch this lady on Joe Rogan. Holy hell, it'll blow your mind, because there's so many things that are so obvious, and how the medical industry has just become so monetarily driven, where, okay, your kid's 8 years old, he's 150 pounds, let's give him this med, or let's let him get outside and try to walk and just give him some fruit. I mean, being you guys a doc and a chef, does that, I mean, I wish I had hair so I could pull it out.
I wanted to say how, in the last segment you did about El Trumpo, we talked about how people don't think anymore. They're just kind of hearing things and they go with it. What we don't understand is what's behind all this is the fact that the tobacco industry in the 1980s saw the tobacco industry just bottoming out, because all of a sudden we had to put warning labels on tobacco, cigarettes, and everything, and they were just losing it. Well, now 50% of the world's food companies are now owned by tobacco companies. So the big tobacco companies, smart of them, in the 80s and 90s started buying up like the Kellogg's and all these big companies that we hear about, food companies, but they're actually owned by tobacco companies, the J.R. Reynolds, and there's a few other ones. They just went and they said, okay, well, we're going to switch this habit, this thing that we've got people, this addiction of tobacco, we're going to switch it to food.
And we're going to do it because we're going to bring our scientists that help get people hooked on tobacco, get them hooked on to this stuff.
On the food. So we always tell people, well, it's not your fault. They've got scientists working against you to figure out what the crunch point is of a Doritos, so that there's no way you can eat one Dorito. They know from their scientific research what the food taste is, what chemicals they can put in, what's going to ignite you for that cocaine, exactly what your video showed. Because it is cocaine to the human brain. When you have a Dorito, it's just boom. Oh my gosh, that was amazing. I've got to have a couple more. And it's all scientifically done.
It's almost, I don't even want to say the word almost, it's evil.
It is evil.
Oh, that's the perfect word. It is evil.
It is evil.
That's why we're doing what we're doing, because we know evil, we know good. We got to let the people know without telling them, just letting them understand you have choices you can make.
Okay, so Doc and Chef, I'm going to let you go pretty soon here, but where can people find you guys? Okay, and is there any, I'm assuming you guys have all this information. They can just go to you and you're just going to be vomiting great information.
Well, not vomiting.
Well, hey, from a website point of view, you can find us on doctoronamission.com. That's DOCTOR on a mission.com, and us on social media at Doctor on a Mission. Just check us out on any social media channels, or join us on the MD and Chef Team show on those social media channels just before the Rubio show. And we're out there educating. We're in a fight. We're in a fight for people's health right now, because everything has just gone downhill with people's health, mental health, brain health, physical health. It's gone downhill, and we're in a fight. We're in a fight for everybody, and we're here to help out for optimal health.
I agree. Doc and Chef, this will not be the last time you guys are on my show, because I know people are going to want to hear more and more and more on this. And the more I dive into it, the more I'm just like, holy hell, this is, like I said, this is beyond evil at this point.
It is evil. Yeah.
Well, good. I'm glad you're talking about it, because you can share that with other people to help them wake up. Like we can infect people with the truth.
Absolutely.
This is evil.
I appreciate it. Everyone go to doctoronamission.com. Check them out on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, and all that stuff. Dave Bradley says we can win 100%.
Fight.
Go watch their show. You will have a good time. I promise you. doctoronamission.com. Thanks again, guys. Jenna, I'm out.